Hey, I'm John Reeves III, and I'm the founder of Garage Gym Life Media. You guys know that I love finding new home gyms to go explore, and so I am greatly pleased to be able to check out Ed Dziadon's home gym. Ed, thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for letting me do this.
I was just a guest on his podcast. I'm going to put the link to that in the description for this video. It's an awesome conversation where we nerd out about Star Wars and all kinds of other stuff. But today we're going to talk about his awesome home gym where he trains himself and his wife for strongman competition. Well, let's dive right in, man. Show me around. Let's start with that TV that's behind you, because we met because I was live streaming a competition where you and your wife were competing. Tell me how you use the TV as a tool as part of your training.
I actually use this quite a bit whenever music just wasn't doing it anymore. I put on West Side versus the World, and I would lift to that quite a bit, especially if I knew I had like a heavy squat going on. Nothing better than, hearing Louis Simmons tell you to get after it.
Oh man, yeah, that's similar to like how we have our TV in here. We do the same thing because, I mean, it like you said, some days music just doesn't do it. We've done a ton of movies like Pump and Iron. We've done strongman stuff. That's even why we started live streaming, because we wanted to give home gym owners a chance to have something on demand. You could put a competition on, because it's so tough to find strongman competitions on, ESPN or whatever when you want to watch it. So we said, hey, let's make it so that people can check out competitions whenever they want. But yeah, so without getting derailed by that, show me what else you got.
All right, so we'll go ahead and start out by the first piece of gym equipment that I had in here, and these are the weeder weights that I have. I guess you would almost consider them vintage, because my dad got them when I was like 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
I had them in his garage when I was working out.
Did they come with that rubber around them?
I got my house, and instead of, yeah, they did actually. It's extremely handy because I don't have a jack, so this sets it up just a little bit farther than the rest of my weights.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So he went and handed that off to me and allowed me to start my home gym.
That's generational. That's what I'm talking about.
It's extremely generational, and I'm extremely lucky to have my dad hand that down to me. Moving on, we have the squat rack. That was the first big piece of equipment that I got in here, just because, I mean, a power rack, it's an essential piece to have in any garage gym. I put my movable bench in there. Okay. I can do my bench, rack pulls, squats, obviously. It's an extremely handy tool.
Which bench did you get?
Off the Facebook Marketplace. I got the Titan incline flat decline. I think it's on their website as like IFD bench, okay, because you can adjust it to incline to decline.
Yeah, I picked I asked that because, so like we have a stand-up bench now, and that's huge for getting it out of the way when you're training, like if you need to use a rack for something, but not getting anybody else's way if there's two of you training at the same time. So I'm always on the lookout for the different stand-up benches. How do you like that one?
This one has actually worked out pretty well. There's a little bit of a wobble to it, but it seemed very preferable to their other adjustable bench, which a lot of reviews said that the base it was crooked, so I didn't want to have that.
Yeah, and so people don't think about like a wobble on a bench. That's huge, because it's not only supporting whatever weight you are bench pressing, it's also supporting you. So like when you think about, so like you can always, on any bench, it'll tell you what the weight tolerance is, right? So let's say a bench says weight limit is 400 pounds, right? Okay, that's great, but I weigh 200 pounds. And I bench over 3. So we just exceeded the weight limit of the bench, just like that. I mean, that's not something you want to break under you, because you're in a pretty vulnerable position when you're bench pressing. So, okay, I appreciate the info on that, man. Nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, you were about to tell me about that box.
Yeah, so I just got this plyo box off the Facebook Marketplace, and it does the job, no complaints.
Okay.
It's a solid, used for box squats, any sort of plyometrics. We have our crash pads, which we mostly use for our log.
Okay.
We do strongman, so it's important to not damage your log horns when you put the log down.
Hey, before you go any further, hold on a second, because you guys have your entire floor covered with stall mats, but I see you have some puzzle mats. What do you use the puzzle mats for?
Oh, the puzzle mats. I was actually just originally using those to raise the box up a bit if I'm doing a high box squat. Just for some extra height on just for cushion.
Okay.
Moving on, we have this deadlift platform, which I built by myself. I say by myself. My dad helped me build it.
Of course, yeah.
Plywood, install mat here. And then I use these D-rings here for resistance bands.
Okay.
They are not ideal. I will say I wish I would have just went ahead and spent the money on some resistance band hooks. Because this gets a bit tedious having to twist it on.
I mean, they have continuous D-rings. I don't remember where I saw them, but they have continuous D-rings at Home Depot. I will find them, and Lowe's for that matter. So I'll find the link to it, and I'll put it in the description for this video, and I'll just DM it to you if I find it, because that may help kind of fix that problem.
I'll have to check that out for sure.
Yeah. All right. So what else you got?
Moving on from the deadlift platform, right above it, we have the gun rack, which I also built. And this holds a few bars. We actually had a little bit of an issue. We have some hooks on here that broke. We're looking to replace it soon.
Okay.
But up top you have your Titan Bison bar here. I don't even know what kind of bar this is. I got that with I just got it off the marketplace.
Beater bar. Okay.
This is the terrible Weeder bar. This is the Weeder bar that came with the weight set, and the knurl right here is actually not spaced properly. So it's a little we don't really use that bar.
People in the 70s had one shoulder longer than the other. That must have been what it was.
Probably. The advancements in medicine have really helped us.
I know, right? Yeah. So that safety squat bar down there, that looks really wide. You're a pretty big guy. So I'm fairly certain that fits you pretty well. But your wife also competes, and she's definitely not a very big person. So how is that for both of you guys?
So fortunately, it works out for her pretty well. She hates when I say this, but she is also a fairly broad person.
Okay.
Which I think is awesome. It helps her out in strength.
Oh, sure.
Sports and everything else in life. We've been fortunate enough to where that works out for both of us. But in the future, we'll probably look to upgrade to something like the SS yoke or something like that.
Yeah, I know women don't want to be known as a broad person. Like, I mean, she's not a big person. I mean, because I met you guys in person. She's not a big person, but I know what you mean. Like her proportions in terms of how her shoulders, like she doesn't have to wear shoulder pads in a jacket, in a suit jacket or something.
Oh no, she's built for strongman for sure.
Nice. Okay. Well, you obviously like it. Went out of your way to change her last name to yours.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go. All right. All right. What else you got?
So because of the broken, gun rack, we had to stack some in the corner. We have the Titan multi-grip bar right here. This one works pretty well. No complaints. This is our standard Olympic bar. We use it for just about everything. Easy bar in the corner here, just to get some pumps in on our bicep.
All right.
And then these are actually attachments for our farmer's handles so that we can turn it into a frame. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
And then moving on to this side, this is our entire strongman side. This is where we keep all of our strongman specific equipment. Right here, first we have a yoke. And that's pretty standard. That was one of the first pieces of strongman equipment that I bought. Hopefully looking to upgrade in the future. Something that would be nice is I know that Texas Power Concept, they make a yoke farmer handle combo. So that would be extremely beneficial for like just space saving issues. And also just getting a heavier yoke, because the base weight on this is only 160 pounds, and lugging weight out to the street to run this yoke gets to be a bit tedious.
Now, I mean, that probably helps you and your wife out, because obviously Peyton lifts a little bit less than you, but at the same time, it's also going to, as far as weight distribution goes, when you get to a competition, it's going to feel different to you. Because I remember I talked to Johnny Waz, who also creates yokes, and I remember when I met him, his company's Big Dog Strong, and he custom builds stuff now. But anyway, the point is, he said, look, if you want to use my yoke, you got to be able to squat 500 pounds, because he makes it nice and beefy, because that way you don't have to add as much weight to the yoke. So if you're used to a yoke that's smaller and has, it's thinner, it's kind of like being used to benching with a regular bar or doing presses with a regular bar, then you get to a competition and they're using an axle. It's going to feel different to your body. So yeah, I think that's right. For the sake of being, competition, I can see it would be advantageous for you to add another yoke to your arsenal. I probably wouldn't get rid of that one you have now, but adding another one, even though space is an issue, that's still, to me anyway, seems like it'd be good to have it as another tool for the toolbox.
Right.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Those are the farmer's handles?
Yes, these are our farmer's handles. We opted to go with the uprights because while the horizontals are cool and get the job done, they're just, not very likable. Okay. You don't want to have to worry about your weight sliding off the end. These are the Titan farmer's handles frame combo.
All right.
So the only issue that anyone I've ever read has with these is the feet right here. They stick out a little bit far. Some people have complained about dropping it on their foot. I haven't run into that issue, fortunately, and the knurl on these handles are very good.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. It's not, and with the person who was talking about that, it wasn't how far out the feet stuck. It was more that the farmer's handles are on top of the feet are too low to the ground. So they said there's not clearance for the top of your foot. Like they said, hey, we could adjust this so that when you set it down, your foot can go underneath it. That way, if you're tired and you set it down without thinking, you don't crush your foot. So I've talked to one other person who's got those same handles, and they said they actually decided to DIY a solution to just raise it up a little bit so they wouldn't crush their foot. I know that's a big shock. Somebody in a home gym DIY something, but yeah.
Never.
You said that I remember you told me that those have knurling on them. How do you like the knurling?
So the knurling is actually, it's very good. I know Peyton, she doesn't really like a whole lot of knurl on her handles, but I prefer that. I like being able to kind of dig my hands into it. So for me, it works out pretty well. We'll probably end up getting some different handles for her in the future.
Well, when you go to competitions, are the handles normally knurled? Because don't you get to use straps? So I know at the Mammoth that we live stream every year, they normally don't allow you to have knurling on it, but then they change it so that you can have knurling. So what happens, like in the competitions you've done 5 comps? What have you experienced as far as farmers handles?
So for farmers handles, I mean, it's varied. I used one set that had knurl on it. I had another that, was actually wrapped in some sort of tape, which made it a lot more difficult. And then I had some that was just bare, smooth metal. So it's really just sort of like, what do you prefer? If I could find out ahead of time whether the handles would have knurl or not, I'd probably wrap it up in something like electrical tape to make it a little bit more slick. But for just day-to-day training, I prefer to have knurl.
Okay. Yeah, that is probably something like, I mean, you could probably email whoever's putting the competition together to say, hey, are your handles going to have this or that on them? And they'll answer anything you want because they want you to come to their competition. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what else you got, man?
All right. So going on from the yoke, we have the his and her log. Okay. I have my log right here, the Titan 12-inch, but really 13-inch log. And then Peyton's 10-inch log right here. When she first started training, she was actually using my log and she successfully pressed it. Then
Nice.
she signed up for her first competition. And we were like, well, we got to get you your own log. Like, there's no way that, you know, she can properly train with my log.
Yeah, because I mean, the diameter of the log is going to be different, and you need to train as close as possible to what you're going to have to deal with. And then also the angle on your wrists, because each log is different. So I think you probably, I don't know, you don't ever use Peyton's log, do you?
No, I haven't ever ran into the need to. I've also heard that cleaning a smaller diameter log is more difficult.
Yeah,
So
that's
if
what
I
I'm
ever ran
saying.
into a position where, like, yeah, if I had to, I would. But you know, it also goes back to the weight thing. My log's heavier than hers,
Gotcha.
so load less weight type of thing.
Okay. Okay.
Also in the strongman corner, we have the Husfeld stone. We have the sled, which I got for walking for hip rehabilitation.
Okay.
And then this dip bar attachment for the squat rack.
Okay.
We also have our battle rope and our belt hanging up on this hook right here.
Okay.
And I have that brand. I cannot remember exactly what it is, but I can send it to you after we're done here.
Sure. Well, yeah, I'll put the link to it in the description too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We have sandbags here ranging from, this is our 50, and it goes up in 50-pound increments all the way down to the 300 right here.
Are those what's brand of sandbags are those?
We actually have two different brands, and I don't know the brands that they are because my wife's aunt was nice enough. She was amazing. She bought these for me after my first competition.
Gotcha. Okay.
The bottom three here,
Okay.
and then the top three we bought for Peyton when she signed up for her competition.
Okay. Well, I know that those green throw bags are Muscle
hold
Pirate.
up really nice. Yes, these are Muscle Pirate.
Okay.
And if you're going with a lower weight, the Muscle Pirate bags are fantastic. Like when I was training for Winter Strongest Warrior, though, those bags got up to 50 pounds.
Okay.
And holding 50 pounds of sand in one of these and then doing repetitive throws, it gets to be a bit tedious because there's no zippers on it. So I haven't exactly quite figured out how to close them effectively, but they get the job done.
So for 50 pounds and under, you recommend them. Gotcha. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's talk about these Atlas stones you got.
Yeah, man. So Atlas Stone, you know, best event in strongman. We got this 250 right here. These are hybrid molds, by the way.
Okay.
I know some people don't prefer them. I think they work just fine. You grind this seam down right here, put a little, you know, TLC on it, and you'll be just fine.
Okay.
We got a 175 here, and then we got a 115 right here.
Okay.
And I made these two, and I bought this one off the Facebook Marketplace, and decided very quickly that it was too light. So I could probably palm this thing if I tried.
Yeah, those things. So you'd be surprised. I'll tell a quick story. You'd be surprised at how much in demand those things are. And it's amazing because I had an Atlas stone. I've since given it to my brother, but I had an Atlas stone here. And I remember I was doing some carries. And I got tired and I just put it down when I was done. And I was like, I'll just bring it in later, right? Well, so I just left it like down at the my curb. And I was like, I mean, it's gonna be fine, right? Wrong. My mom came outside and saw some people trying, like two guys. I don't know what they were planning on doing with it because she said it took two of them and they were trying to kind of work together to pick it up and put it in the back of their truck. And they were failing, but she said, basically, they're trying to steal your stone. I was like, and so she stopped them. But I said, that's funny. You know, I know a crackhead will steal anything, but I've never, I thought that'd be the one thing that'd be safe. I was wrong. So public service announcement, don't leave your Atlas stones where anybody can just grab one, okay? I don't know what they're gonna use it for, unless they do strongman as well, but you know, they're out here slinging used Atlas stones like crack rocks, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I derailed you once again. What else you got?
So I got this glute ham raise. I think it's Titan brand, but this is another piece that I got off the Facebook Marketplace.
Okay.
It works out super well for what it is. My only complaint is this wobbles a bit.
Oh,
but I mean,
that's not good.
for what I paid for it, it's worked out fine. And if you got your feet planted here, it kind of fixes it into place. So not super worrying or anything like that. We've got some kettlebells right here. Also another Facebook Marketplace buy. I don't use them a whole lot, but they're handy to have around when you need them.
Okay.
And I forgot to point out, man, and I can't believe I did it. We got the #1 banner in the garage right here.
Hey,
our garage gym life, right above the Deadlift Platform.
Hey, yours looks like mine.
Just so everyone knows what's up.
That's right. Thank you. Hey, I appreciate that.
Almost identical.
Yeah, I know, right?
Absolutely, man. So moving on, we have the podcast studio here. Where we recorded on Friday.
Okay.
We have a punching bag for my son who's doing karate. He's doing super awesome at that. So he can come in here and kick the bag whenever he wants.
Nice.
And then we have our loadable dumbbells right here. Goes from 5 to 100 pounds.
Okay.
Those are also off Titan Fitness, and they are extremely handy as far as saving space goes. Not super convenient to load, but as long as I don't have to have a whole rack of dumbbells, I will be just fine.
Well, let me ask you a question, because Peyton just posted maybe last week that she got a PR in Circus Dumbbell. Was she using that loadable dumbbell?
She was, yeah. She was using the loadable dumbbell. We hope to get an actual circus dumbbell soon, but it's kind of one of those if the competition calls for it type of thing. So the last thing that we have our resistance bands, good for warm-ups, good for stretching, rehab, jump rope if we ever feel like pretending like we're Rocky. And then up here, this is my old weight belt that my dad gave to me that he used in the Army.
Oh, wow.
I was using it one day and it snapped on me. So it's just a little piece of gym memorabilia. It's super ugly hanging up on the wall, but it's one of those things where I get to look at it, every time I come in here and remember where I started.
First of all, shout out to your dad, man, because part of the appeal of the home gym is you get to spend time with your kids. And so it's a blessing. Like, all 4 of my boys have trained in this gym with me. My little girl trains in here with me. She said, "Oh, I'm playing," but she's basically training and doesn't realize it here in the gym with me. Your dad did the same thing with you. Now you're doing it with your son. That is generational in terms of passing on a love for strength and health that a lot of times people don't do with their kids. And then just imagine, I can't even imagine the hours of quality time, like the conversations that you guys had, the wisdom that gets passed back and forth that you wouldn't have if not for the home gym. Because in a lot of ways, a good home gym does what a living room was supposed to do. When, it's like a place to interact. And especially now that people have like their electronic devices, a home gym is one of the few places where, as a family, you actually interact with each other instead of all being in the same room, but all on your phone. You know what I mean? So shout out to your dad and shout out to you for keeping that alive. I love that, man.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. So I want people to be able to follow your training, follow Peyton's training, and definitely check out your podcast. So let's give out all your social media information. And also I'm going to I'll put all these links in the description, but right now just tell people how they can follow your training and follow your podcast.
So my main source of exposure is Instagram. You can follow me at Night Coffee Pod, all spelled the usual way. I'm on Facebook, Night Coffee Podcast. And I do my lifting and my podcasting all through that Instagram, because it kind of helps to give people an insight into what you're doing, like the face behind the podcast type of thing.
Right.
And if anyone wants to follow my wife, she is killing it way more than me at the social media game. You can follow her at Hey Peyton Hey. Peyton spelled with an E.
Right.
So she's killing it every day, and I'm envious of her presence on social media.